My name is Samantha Houston Crook, and I'm a behavioral consultation model clinician at Center for Human Services. And I'm here today to talk with you about communication styles that you can use both with your students in the classroom and when speaking to your students' parents. There are three particular communication styles that we're going to talk about. That's passive, aggressive, and assertive communication. Now, I'm sure you guys have already heard about all these types of communication styles, but I just want to reiterate that so that we all have a basic understanding. Passive communication. So with passive communication, the person prioritizes the needs, wants, feelings of others over their own needs, wants, and feelings. They do not express their own needs or stand up for themselves. They allow others to take advantage. They're normally soft-spoken or quiet. They normally have poor eye contact and lack of confidence. With the aggressive communication style, they expresses only their own needs, wants, and feelings and ignore everyone else's. They're easily frustrated, speak loud or are overbearing in some ways, unwilling to compromise. They use criticism, humiliation, and domination as a means to communicate, and they frequently interrupt. Assertive communication is the person standing up for their own needs, wants, feelings, but also listening and respecting others' needs, wants, and feelings. They listen without interruption. They clearly state their needs and wants. They are always willing to compromise. They are confident in tone and body language. And they always give good eye contact while listening and speaking to the person that they are having a conversation with. Each of these styles of communication is used in the classroom, and we are all guilty of using more passive or aggressive communication when we're in high stress situations. However, practicing the assertive communication style is a great way to talk with students and parents to model appropriate communication to your students. That's our biggest focus, is that we want to model this behavior so that when our students leave the classroom, they have the tools in order to make the difference in their own behavior and their own interactions with their peers. The act of communicating involves verbal, nonverbal, and paraverbal components. So we're going to get into some components of communication. The verbal component refers to the content of our message, the choice and arrangement of our words. The nonverbal component refers to the message we send through our body language. And the paraverbal component refers to how we say what we say, such as the tone, the pacing, and the volume of our voice. In order to communicate effectively, we must have all three things to do two things. So I'm going to say that again. We need all three things to do two things, which is to send a clear, concise message and to hear and correctly understand messages someone is sending us. This is extremely important to convey to your students, that you are both wanting to send a message and you also want to hear and make sure that they are also understanding what you're trying to send. So all three components to do these two things. Let's get into the nitty-gritty details of these certain components. So verbal. Our use of language has a tremendous power in how we create problem solving and the atmosphere that we are creating in our learning and just our conversations in general. Words that are critical, blaming, judgmental, or accusatory tend to send a resistant and defensive mindset that is not conducive to any type of productive problem solving or learning in general. On the other hand, we can choose a word that normalizes the issues and problems and reduce resistance. That's our goal in the classroom, is to reduce the resistance that we get from our students. Phrases such as, in some districts, people may, it is not uncommon for, and for some folk in this situation, or for some people in this situation, these are just examples of normalizing and also validating what you are trying to speak of in these situations. Nonverbal. Oh my goodness. Our body language, our nonverbal communication is communicating, whether we want it to be or not. You cannot not communicate. I know it's terrible to say because it just sounds funny, but you cannot not communicate. We are always communicating in our lives. That's just how humans interact. So nonverbal messages are the primary way we communicate our emotions. So this can be done through facial expressions. So a face can light up with enthusiasm or energy and approval. It could express confusion or boredom. You see those kids, oh my goodness, and scowling when you're displeased or just angry. The eyes are particularly expressive in showing joy and sadness, anger, and confusion. We all know this. Postures and gestures are also a nonverbal skill. So our body posture can create a feeling of warm openness or cold rejection. For example, I'm facing the camera, I'm open, my body is open, but if I were to sit here with my arms crossed, maybe slumped in my chair, I'm not really expressing an open and authentic version of myself. If anything, that type of posture makes me start to feel a little bit down or sad. But by having that open warmness, that posture, it shows and makes me feel like I am open and warm. How we present our bodies is very important, both for the person that's receiving the message and for us that's giving it. Paraverbal communication refers to the message that we transmit through the tone, pitch, and pacing of our voices. It is not how we say something, but what we say. I'm sure we've all told some kids that in our lives, it's not what you say, but it's not how you say it, but what you say. A sentence can convey entirely different meanings depending on the emphasis of the words and the tone of the voice. For example, the statement, "I didn't say you were stupid," has 6 different meanings depending on which word you emphasize. I didn't say you were stupid. I didn't say you were stupid. I didn't say you were stupid. These all are 3 examples of just how the sentence changes. It works in all different areas, and that's where we see a lot of kiddos that are struggling with both what they say, how they say it, and then how to react when someone doesn't like the message that we are sending. These all kind of go together in our classroom, but also, like I was saying, when we're talking with our students on the playground, when we're communicating with parents, when we're encouraging students to communicate with one another, we want to make sure that they have both the model and the skills and training in order to convey this type of understanding and type of communication style. Not only that, but when they have hard emotions to process and they are struggling to find their words, instead of shutting them down and asking them to go calm their bodies down, help them find ways to communicate what they are feeling. That can either be through the verbal, the nonverbal, or the paraverbal, helping them identify what needs to change or what needs to happen in order for them to get out those emotions. And it's very important with little kids that they learn these communication styles early on so that they can have the best type of communication with their peers and teachers in the future. Thank you guys so much for listening and just wanting to know more in order to help your students and your parents and just the classrooms that you teach in. I love all the work that you guys are doing. You guys are doing such a good job. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me or your administration, and I look forward to working with you guys more in the future. Thank you.